Hey guys, I just quit my gym membership.
What? Why?
I gave my 2-week notice.
Oh, wow.
On account I'm too weak to use the equipment.
Oh my God.
Hey dudes, what's happening?
Hey, how's it going, Carl?
How you doing?
I can't complain, but I do anyway.
Mm-hmm. We noticed.
Yeah. Hey, I heard this hacker guy died.
Yeah.
Kevin Mitnick.
That sucks.
We should just talk about that briefly before we start the show.
Yeah, most people won't know Kevin Mitnick, but it's kind of like if you're getting into music and you need to know who like one of the great old legends is. So Kevin got into hacking early and was kind of was very much a legend because they couldn't catch him.
Yep.
He was on the run for a long time.
Yeah, and then when he did get caught, he was sent to the federal pen for a while, and then he got out. And he actually has been one of the largest proponents of security awareness and security awareness training ever since. I mean, honestly, he was one of the chief guys at KnowBe4 for email phishing and in training of users and telling them what to click on and what not to click on.
I think
and
he's
that
a
sort of
founder.
stuff.
Was he a co-founder?
Yeah. I think so. But he's
KnowBe4, KNOWBE4.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So he's a legend in the space, honestly. Social engineering was one of the things he was very good at, but he's given talks at Black Hat. He's given talks at DEF CON. He's tied in with a lot of the security crowd. So Kevin Mitnick's kind of one of the gods of cybersecurity, if you will. And unfortunately he's passed away.
So he was a hacker who did some bad things and then turned into a good guy.
And has, arguably done more than a lot of people for the security space. He's done a great job.
One of the stories from his bad old days that I thought was amazing was he walked onto a AT&T service vehicle and posed as a supervisor and convinced them that they were like screwing up, and he took their manuals.
Yes.
And then he subsequently took the FBI agent in charge of his case. He buried his POTS line so that the phone company couldn't find it for weeks. And he basically ditched the guy's home phone line, as a way to spite him. He just did crazy things.
Yes. But very, very smart guy in the cybersecurity world. So unfortunately, he did pass away yesterday.
Yeah.
At age 59 of pancreatic cancer, which is just way too young.
I don't like that because I'm not too far from that.
Ugh.
So starting off on a downer.
I know, right?
Well, let's bring Microsoft into it because that always makes us smile.
That cheers me up.
It's always good for something.
Yeah.
So Microsoft is still unsure how hackers stole the Azure AD signing key. That's never a good sign.
So first of all, let's back up. It's
never a good sign.
Keys are like passwords, aren't they?
Yeah, they're like computerized passwords that are really, really, really long.
Right.
No one talks about guessing a key. Doesn't really work. But you can lose access to a key, or somebody can get access to a key. In fact, when Dwayne and the boys check in and get into a network, if they can find a key, then they can authenticate to all sorts of things.
All right. And Azure AD is Azure Active Directory. This is sort of Azure's way to allow you to store usernames, passwords, and user information and data on their servers in the cloud, which is really great for companies because then by you not having access to those things directly, it removes a lot of liability from your company, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. So that's why people really loved Azure AD and still do love Azure AD.
And you shouldn't. People don't need to run for the hills. It was only a couple of dozen. They said specifically of 24 organizations. So if I had to guess, that's actually some interesting intel that the keys are only used for a couple of dozen organizations at a time, but some of them were government agencies.
Yeah.
And as our next story will highlight, it's causing a little bit of a kerfuffle.
Yeah.
A kerfuffle. I knew you were going to say that when you paused.
It's a good word.
And it's interesting.
You're like, what is that word that starts with cur and ends with fuffle? What is that?
Wait a second.
Yeah.
No, it's interesting because the way these were Active Directory, Azure Active Directory signing keys, right? So what it gives you the ability to do is create valid tokens, which can authenticate services. And we've definitely seen a big influx of token attacks. Heck, there's a tool out there called Token Tactics that you can use that will give you the ability. Let's say we were to try and breach an organization. I can use Token Tactics to actually steal a token from a user. And then use it to access services like your Outlook, to use it to access, files in SharePoint if you have them in Office 365. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with tokens. And what Microsoft has done is they have a lot of products out there, right? They have SharePoint, they have OneNote, they have Outlook, they have OneDrive. There's all sorts of stuff. So these tokens allow you to move between these products. And then seamlessly use them. So think of them that way.
Like in a single sign-on scenario?
Exactly. Very similar to that.
Where you log in once and then you're validated for all of these services.
Yeah, exactly. And so think of if I could take that token and I could use it in all these services, well, I can pretend to be you. Well, who says that token is valid? Well, the Microsoft Azure Active Directory that signed the token says it's valid. So with this signing key, they could then go create their own tokens for organizations. And you're right, they used it on 25 different organizations, which is just surprising.
So what I know about keys and tokens and things is that they can be regenerated. And Microsoft even has a way to do that called Key Vault, where the tokens are kept in a single place. Your secrets, your passwords, your tokens, all those things are kept in one place. And then all of your services rely on that one place. And then you can regenerate it just once. You don't have to go out and play whack-a-mole with all your services and, copy and paste over new tokens and things. So am I simplifying things? Is it when it's an Azure AD token, is it just much more heinous a problem? Or can they just regenerate things and, sorry, you're going to have to log in again or whatever?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's honestly, once you detect an issue like this, it really just, you go and revoke the existing keys. You don't know which ones have been breached, so you just go revoke them all and reissue them. And because of the way that the Active Directory signing service works, when you log back in, you're going to get a new signed token anyways. So honestly, there's not much for the users to do. It's just really
force
more
everyone
of a,
out.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
All right. So if you're logged in, log off and log in again.
Log back in. But the more interesting thing here is how did they find and or acquire these keys, and how long have they been sitting on these keys?
Yeah.
Right? Because
they've attributed to China.
Right. Yes. This is the Storm 0558 group. Now we know Microsoft switched over to using weather to name threat actors rather than using
jingoism.
Yeah, I don't know. It used to be the Crypt Spider is one, and there's Fuzzy Bear and
they use Panda a lot for China, and Dragon, and
the Tiger for India. Yeah. Right. So,
did you see that YouTube video I showed you the other day of the TED Talk where the guy says he messed with a spammer?
Yes.
And he kept leading him on.
Yes.
And he says the best email he got was he told the guy to use code words for everything.
Yeah.
And then the most surreal message he got was about, all these different candies.
Gumdrop.
Yeah. The lollipop.
Yeah.
We have to make sure the lollipop is secure because the gumdrops are going to,
Was that James Veitch?
Yeah.
It was James Veitch. Yeah. He's
that was
phenomenal.
Funny.
Yeah. He's a funny dude.
So anyway, all right. So log off, log in again. So now the Microsoft story isn't over. An email hack. Is this the same email hack? No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So 25 of those organizations, they breached the Exchange Online, leveraging these tokens.
Okay. So it's fallout from that.
Yes, it's a consequence. So basically, it's been said that you could have detected this if you had access to very high level logs.
Well, let's tell people what it is. So email hack prompts call from Microsoft to make security logs free.
Yeah.
Security logs.
Microsoft, when they first started Azure, they started adding on security features, security capabilities. And at first, the ones they added were free, and then they started adding ones that cost extra.
Because what? They were, bound up in vaults somewhere that were you had a security guard standing by 24/7. I mean, what?
Yeah, that would be nice. But no, usually what it is it's just lots of data. I mean, for anybody who's ever tried to do any threat hunting, and threat hunting is where you believe part of your organization has been breached in a particular way, and you're literally looking you're hunting that threat. And you're usually hunting it through logs and what they call indicators of compromise or IOCs to try and find it. So, but there is massive amounts of logs that come from applications and operating systems. I mean, like terabytes and terabytes of information to sift through. So Microsoft generally is not going to hold on to that if they don't have to, because it's expensive.
Yeah.
And then there are organizations like Amazon, interestingly enough. If you're in AWS, they do hold on to all of that information always. They just won't tell you or give you that information unless you pay them.
Okay.
So they have it. They just won't tell you unless you're actually paying for their high level of security monitoring, and then they give you the data.
Which is what the complaints are about. The complaints are
exactly
that it's like, well, you're safeguarding my stuff.
Yeah.
And you're making mistakes, but you're charging me to get the data that would help me divulge that you made a mistake.
Right. To find it myself. Yeah, exactly.
So has Microsoft said yes, no, go stuff it, or what? What have
I
they
don't
said?
think they've commented.
Yeah, I mean, it would be, I'm going to be honest, it would be silly for Microsoft to say, yeah, we're going to give this away for free. Although as the, altruistic hacker, I think all of this security data should be available to you. It's your systems. You should know who's attacking them. But the problem is, like I said, it's a lot of data and it's very expensive to keep around.
What would Kevin Mitnick say?
Kevin Mitnick would say, train them all. Yeah, he would. He would say, give them access to the data so that they can defend themselves.
Okay.
Yeah. But
I think this will be a battle for the next decade. I think this will be something that comes up from time to time because we're still in a point where most organizations they're not going to look at the data anyways.
Mm-hmm.
This is government agencies. That's why it's coming up. What you may find is the new contract with the government will be, and oh, by the way, you're going to include all that data for free.
Hey, next week we're going to record a show at dinner, right?
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Up in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
So what's the name of the place?
A Copper Door is what we're thinking right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the Copper Door. Yeah.
Do we have clearance? Are they going to tell us we can't bring our microphones in? Or
I don't know. We're going to have to ask.
we can hack that.
We might have to rent a room.
Right.
Well, it's going to be an interesting show. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But right now we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back after these very important messages. Hey, welcome back. It's Security This Week, and I'm Carl Franklin, and that's Patrick Hines and Dwayne LaFlotte.
Hello.
Hey, Carl, can you pass the drawn butter? Oh, no, that's next week.
Next
Never
week.
mind.
Okay, yeah. I got it right here, actually. Bring the crab legs.
And if we're lucky, maybe we'll even have guests.
Yes, I think we'll have a few strap
Really?
hangers.
Maybe,
Well,
yes.
Yeah, basically Dwayne's red team.
I got my red team. I'm going to try and convince them to talk to two other humans. You two.
You might hear
We'll
them
see.
say, pass the bread, please.
Yeah, or pass the pizza and
Or pass the hash.
Mountain Dew.
Oh.
Pass the hash.
Which is entirely different in the hacking world than it is
Than
in
in
the
the drug
college
world.
campus
Yes, we
world.
know.
Yeah.
We know. All right, I have one question for you guys. Can Cold Fusion just go away now? It's been, 20, 30 years since that was popular? Why is anybody still running Cold Fusion?
Because think of all the energy. Oh, no, that's a different goal.
No, honestly, it's a technology that's been around forever. And it's funny, every time I hear about a Cold Fusion exploit of some sort, I have the same reaction. I'm like, wait, are people still running Cold Fusion?
Can you please just pull the plug on those machines?
Well, and it's crazy too, because sometimes we'll be doing a pen test and we'll run into Cold Fusion, and I'll think to myself, oh, this is going to be just easy. Just walk through this system, and configured properly, Cold Fusion can be very secure.
Much like WordPress.
Absolutely.
Well, it's a web platform,
Yeah,
right?
yep.
And it's a low-code web platform, and it was even back in the 90s.
Yeah.
Late 90s.
Honestly, that's one of the reasons why it was so widely adopted early on. Think like Cobalt. I know I probably just dated a lot of us, but Cobalt was adopted because they were looking for, or even VB, they were looking for a business style language that anybody could code in,
right.
And get an application up as fast as possible. Right.
Access is probably the best example of that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You don't have to go to
Run
a full-blown SQL server, just go through Access. So Cold Fusion was very easy to adopt. I think the problem is once you start putting enterprise systems on a technology, it's hard to get off it. We see tons of Pascal programmed applications out there, not probably the widest used programming language nowadays, but still out there because people are building applications on it.
Yeah. So I guess you really only have to worry about this if you know that your company or a service that you use uses Cold Fusion. I can't imagine any mainstream, public facing services, your Twitters and your WhatsApps using Cold Fusion at all.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of your cutting edge, like your Instagrams and your whatever, they're all using whatever the latest technology. Yeah, exactly. You're not going to, this is probably going to be more like if you have an enterprise intranet application that you're using for something, it may very well be Cold Fusion. And this particular exploit is important enough where I know CISA just today actually added this RCE to their database and said, hey, you guys got to keep an eye on this.
It was disclosed on the 11th. It was patched on the 14th. There are patches available. It's not like it's...
What's the rating? What's the severity
9.8.
Holy criminy.
Yeah, so if you have a Cold Fusion server, you really do want to go out and patch it.
And this is a remote code execution, which means it's going to be the thing that gets them access to your systems.
Yeah.
Right.
Not good. Not good. So I wonder, with those things being so old, is it even possible to keep up with patches on a Cold Fusion server? I just can't imagine.
Oh yeah, they have patches. Yeah, they have updates. Update 18 for 2018.
Right.
Update 8 for 2021 version, and 2023 has 2 updates.
Yeah, I was going to say update 2023 actually has 2 updates this year, 2 or 3. So
all right.
If you're running like version 2014, I think you're out of luck. If there is a 2014.
Right. Yeah.
So you got to stay current. You got to stay, even if something like this, you got to stay on the versions that they're actually.
Yeah.
So if you've got a 2018 implementation, you should be thinking about migrating it to the 2023 version or get rid of it and get something else. Maybe Blazor.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Hey, Patrick, did you send me a text on WhatsApp yesterday?
I don't know. What's in it for me?
Well, no, I bet he didn't.
I bet you didn't because WhatsApp was down yesterday, and I might still be down.
That's crazy, honestly. For an application that large, where they go, oh no, we're not sure. We think there's an issue of some sort. We'll look into it.
I didn't realize Elon Musk was in charge of WhatsApp. Sorry, couldn't help it.
Touche.
Brutal. So, yeah. So in this article, Bleeping Computer confirmed, Meta has confirmed WhatsApp is down worldwide. So this wasn't like a small,
I know.
The Eastern Seaboard was down or something along those lines. This is a worldwide outage.
A lot of my friends in India and Egypt and places like that, they use the hell out of this app. So I'm sure they're losing their mind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Right. And there's a lot of businesses. I mean, we poo-poo WhatsApp sometimes from the security world because really WhatsApp is really used also by scammers, right? Every time someone wants to talk to you and con you into giving them a credit card number, pretending that they're Microsoft, whatever, they're always using a WhatsApp. Can you get on WhatsApp? Can you create a WhatsApp account and then talk to us and that sort of stuff? It's always WhatsApp.
I don't even use WhatsApp. I only use a messaging app developed by the royal family of Nigeria.
Yeah, that's right.
That's always it's super secure. Oh, that's awesome.
And it comes with its own benefits, like you get bank deposits and stuff for free.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
We use Signal, don't we? Signal's our messaging.
We do. Yeah. Signal's
the front runner right now. We reevaluate every quarter to see what's the best secure manager. And it's a lot of things as far as like what their keys are, how their infrastructure works, what their features are. And so far Signal's been the champion for a while for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've really actually liked Signal.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. And
is the screen sharing a new thing? Because we really never used it, but I noticed that it's there now on the desktop app.
I didn't know there was such a thing.
On the desktop app.
Yeah, on the desktop app.
I don't use it on the desktop. I basically use it cell to cell. It's replaced WhatsApp and all of those things for all of my overseas stuff. And, when I travel, I use it to talk to my wife and I use it to talk to, other speakers and people that I'm traveling with. And it also has a phone, and I think even a video thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's just as capable as any other signaling app out there right now.
And I think what's the difference between it and WhatsApp in terms of cryptography?
That's a good question. So from a crypto standpoint, there's a lot more security features built into Signal than there is in WhatsApp. So WhatsApp claims that it wasn't always this way, but they claim that all of their messages are encrypted between the handheld, your phone or laptop or whatever, and the servers. But they still have access to it. So the WhatsApp, company, Meta,
just trust
can read through all those messages if they want to, because they have the keys that do the signing.
Would they? Why would they do that?
No, that's crazy.
Well, the way to think about it is they receive the encrypted message, decrypt it, and then encrypt it to send it to the recipient.
Yeah, that's
so
no
they
good.
have it decrypted at a point.
That's no good.
Which also means even if they're not malicious, if they get hacked, somebody might be able to get into that stream.
But they're also using that data to figure out what your interests are and match that to your Facebook page.
Yep.
And that results in ads that you really didn't want to see.
Which is why they'll never fix it.
Yeah.
No, of course not. But then take Signal, for example, that platform was designed to be end-to-end secure, and it was designed for being able to be used in oppressive regimes. If you were a reporter in a place where you can't be a reporter on certain things, like Signal was the app. And the way that works is each installation app has its own crypto key. So when I send a message, it's actually my client is encrypting the data before it sends it along, and only allowed parties can then decrypt that data.
Is it using asymmetric encryption, like first using RSA public private keys and then using that to generate a key and send it back so we both have it?
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, very similar to the way you do banking.
And it does that for every message.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, which is really, really kind of cool. And the neat thing is, like, if I were to say switch out my device, it would notice, oh, hey, this is a different device that Dwayne normally doesn't talk on. And it notifies everybody in the channel saying, okay, the person you're talking to somehow got into this channel, but it's not necessarily the same person. You need to verify. So there's a lot of really cool security features built in there. There's a burn feature where I could send a message and say 30 seconds after the recipient sees it, burn it from both our devices. And that way the messages just disappear. So if you're sending a password back and forth or whatnot.
Well, your default is 1 day, right? You only let messages live for a day after you send them.
Yeah. And that's the long one, is usually 24 hours. I have most of mine are set to 5 minutes. Yeah. That's 5 minutes is where it will burn. Yeah.
This message will self-destruct in 24 minutes.
Did you guys see that this weekend, the Mission Impossible?
No.
Oh, it was really good. I saw it this weekend. I saw it with the kids. It was really good.
Some good movies coming out. Oppenheimer looks good.
That does look good. I can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
Or the Barbie movie. Whatever.
What the hell?
I hear that's going to be a big hit this weekend, too.
How could you go to see a movie about Klaus Barbie, the butcher of... Oh, no, you mean the other one.
Different Barbie.
All right. We have to end with this awesome story.
It's so horrible.
So awesome.
It's not.
Millions of sensitive U.S. military emails were reportedly sent to Mali, as in the country of Mali, due to a typo.
Wait.
I just got to read.
Who was a Russian ally.
Yeah, that's right. So the long and short of it is, we send an email to Patrick if he's in the Army. He'll have an @army.mil email address. And so people would use a typo and forget the I, and then it'd just be army.ml, which is the country identifier for Mali. And you would think, most of them bounced, but this guy, Johannes Zurbier, I don't know. I'm sorry, Johannes, if I messed up your name, but a Dutch entrepreneur contracted to manage Mali's domain tells the Financial Times that this has been happening for over a decade, despite his repeated attempts to warn the U.S. government. Oh, what? The U.S. government didn't return your calls?
What?
That's so crazy.
That's weird.
Well, so that's good in that if the person who's receiving them is trying to warn them, that means they may not have been sent on to, the Kremlin for analysis.
Right.
Maybe.
But
although, can I just point out that when Carl announced this article, he didn't go the route of Patrick and say this is horrible, but he said this is awesome.
I did. I'm learning, Dwayne.
Yes.
So I'm just saying, I think I'm co-opting.
It's 2 against 1. It's 2 against 1.
I'm co-opting Carl more than you are.
It is awesome. I mean, the irony, right? I mean, it's just
Carl's a little bit anti-establishment, though, so I think there's a little bit of that.
I do have that streak
going on.
I do have that streak. Yeah.
So you're saying I could bring him over to the cult of red teaming pretty easily?
He likes jazz, so he can't be trusted.
So I'm about audio anarchy.
That's awesome.
So this guy collected these emails and then tried to send them. And what did he do? He set up a server to catch all these emails and log them
No, he manages the mail that comes in. He basically manages the top level domain for Mali.
But he stored the emails. He captured them and stored 100 some odd thousand of them.
Yeah, I think they're stored whether he likes it or not because it's a catch-all.
Yeah.
Yeah, not hard to set up a catch-all for ML and just catch everything that would have bounced just to see what it is. He probably has it sitting in an admin inbox somewhere.
So there is no resolution. I guess the Department of Defense is aware of this issue and takes all unauthorized disclosures of controlled national security information or controlled unclassified information seriously. So that's all they really said. They're not doing anything.
What would you do, though?
I don't know. How about can we have these
take
back,
over Mali?
Please? Or can we see what they were? Can we find out who is sending them? And
well, it could be anything from somebody sending to their friend who's in the army,
right,
who has a mill address, to, they gave an example, General James McConville, who's the departing Army Chief of Staff, who's also from Quincy, just like me, is his travel itinerary. So, so that's sensitive. That's a secret document. It's moot now. He's already traveled and done the thing. But it also could be vendors who are sending in quotes and things like that. I don't know that you can't assume that the majority are being sent by the military and therefore all have classified information. But, there's got to be ways to alert, filter.
Is there a DNS way to do this? Is there a way to handle the domains themselves, like army.ml, have that be, owned by the military?
So, no, because it's owned by another government. It could be owned by their military.
Oh, it could be,
because we don't exercise sovereignty over the internet and other countries' domains. What you could do is on the Army servers, you could say, if you're going to try to send to these countries, I would hope that North Korea, Iran, if you try to forward from a military account to those, that you're going to get flagged, and Mali should be on that list. Most of this is probably coming from the outside. Yeah,
it's obviously typos that people are typing in an address.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's not something that they clicked on that they read and copied and pasted. They're copying it in and they're doing it wrong.
So most of this is probably coming from vendors. Who are always the weakest link. And so the vendor's like, I'm going to send, General Franklin this message, and I type in his address because I know it so well, and I type in ML. Yeah. Because I'm in a rush. Or my I key. So maybe the Russians are just disabling people's I keys.
That would be ingenious. Some malware that just
nefarious.
disables eyes.
Yeah. Just only after one letter after a dot. Right? Disable. But, it's probably not as bad as it seems because of these things. One is the person reporting it is probably the one who has the most access to it. And it doesn't look like he's trying to nefariously profit from it because then he wouldn't report it.
Right.
Most of this is probably coming from outside the military into the military.
Sure.
It still have secrets, but not as likely to have secrets as between, two colonels, two generals, that kind of thing. So,
the military should use Azure AD.
Right?
Because
I think they do.
Then they wouldn't have to type the contacts. They'd all be right there in a drop-down
list. Well, then
list.
they could just ask China.
And then
because they'd have,
The thing is, it's a constant battle. There's the price of peace is constant vigilance. It's the same thing. The price of security is constant vigilance. You have to keep closing these loopholes, and they're going to keep coming. It doesn't matter how much we clean up the world or fix things. There's always going to be some other bad news because our standards raise. We want to be more secure. We want to be more, we want more GDP. We want less hunger. We want more. And so that's just the climb. When that stops happening, check your pulse. You're probably dead.
On that note, pass the Béarnaise. Woohoo! So we'll see you next week. Hopefully it'll be tasty.
Bye.
Bye-bye.